Ethan had never seen a world like this. The sky above shimmered in shades of green and violet, and massive floating islands drifted lazily in the distance. On the ground, towering trees with crystalline leaves reflected the sunlight in dazzling patterns. He had traveled thousands of light years from Earth to reach this planet, hoping to find resources for his struggling colony. But nothing he had expected prepared him for what he was about to face. He had come seeking the alien queen, Lyra, the ruler of this world. Stories about her were whispered across the galaxy. She was known as wise and merciless at the same time. Entire civilizations had prospered or perished based on her decisions. But since Ethan's arrival, she had avoided him. Every time he approached her palace, guards would appear, and she would vanish as if she had never been there. Ethan's first encounter with the palace had been a blur of golden spires and shimmering energy barriers. He had tried to speak with the guards, but they only gave polite, distant answers, never revealing anything about their queen. Frustrated, he wandered into the city, observing the aliens going about their daily lives. They were unlike any species he had ever met. Tall, with translucent skin that reflected the light, and eyes that seemed to hold the knowledge of centuries, they moved with grace and precision. Despite their elegance, there was a tension in the air. The aliens watched him closely, some with curiosity, others with suspicion. Ethan understood their fear. Humans had a reputation across the galaxy for being unpredictable. He knew that one wrong move could destroy any chance he had of meeting Lyra. Determined, Ethan began helping where he could. In one instance, a small alien child had fallen into a river with a strong current. Without hesitation, Ethan jumped in, fighting the current to save the child. The alien parents, initially wary, thanked him sincerely. Word of his bravery spread quickly. Even small acts of kindness, he realized, could change perceptions. Days passed, and Ethan explored the planet further. He marveled at its natural beauty. Glowing rivers, floating fauna, and forests where the trees seemed to hum softly. But he never lost sight of his goal: meeting Lyra. Every glimpse of her, though fleeting, fascinated him. Once he saw her shadow flick across a palace window. Another time a soft voice whispered from a balcony above. But when he looked, there was no one there. He began noticing signs that Lyra's avoidance wasn't simple fear or distrust. The palace guards behaved oddly when she appeared. Their stern demeanor softened, and their movements became hesitant, almost protective. Ethan realized that whatever she was hiding, it was serious. One evening, Ethan wandered near the palace gardens, where bioluminescent flowers glowed under the planet's twin moons. He thought he saw her again, standing still among the flowers. He approached slowly, keeping his hands visible. "Queen Lyra," he called softly. The figure didn't move. He stepped closer, and suddenly she vanished into the shadows. Ethan exhaled sharply, his heart racing. He had been so close. He wondered what could be keeping her hidden. Was it fear? A secret? Or something far more dangerous than he could imagine? The next day, Ethan decided to take a different approach. He ventured into the outskirts of the city, where ancient structures and ruins lay hidden. There, he discovered small groups of aliens working on repairs and research. They were cautious at first, but allowed him to help after he offered his expertise. Ethan found he could use his human ingenuity to solve complex problems. Broken machinery, failing energy nodes, and damaged transport units, all were quickly fixed with his knowledge. Through his efforts, he gained allies among the aliens. One of them, a scholar named Talon, spoke to him quietly one evening. "You are different from the humans we know," Talon said. "You are brave, but careful. You think before you act. Perhaps that is why she does not fear you, yet she still hides." Ethan listened intently. He asked, "Why would she hide from me if she does not fear me?" Talon shook his head. "I do not know, but I have seen her in council. She carries a burden, one that affects all of us. Perhaps you are meant to learn it in time." These words gnawed at Ethan. He felt that he was on the edge of a revelation, but he did not yet understand what it could be. Determined to uncover the truth, he continued exploring the palace grounds, looking for clues. It was during one of these explorations that he found a hidden staircase beneath a vine-covered archway. The entrance was small, almost invisible, but his instincts told him it led somewhere important. Carefully, he descended, finding himself in a chamber filled with glowing murals and ancient records. The walls depicted scenes of alien history, battles, rituals, and strange cosmic symbols. In the center, a pedestal held a holographic device, projecting images of a long-forgotten era. Ethan studied the projections, trying to make sense of them. He realized they told a story of a great threat that had once endangered Lyra's civilization. Centuries ago, an interstellar predator had demanded a price for peace. The aliens had agreed to a pact, one that required the Queen to live in isolation to protect her people. Any human interference, it seemed, could trigger catastrophic consequences. His mind raced. Could this be why Lyra avoided him? The thought made him pause. If he had unknowingly endangered her or her people, he could not forgive himself. But curiosity and compassion drove him forward. He had to know the truth. Ethan spent the night in the chamber, examining the murals and devices. As he studied, he heard a soft voice behind him. "You should not be here," it said. He turned sharply and saw her, Lyra, standing quietly, her expression unreadable. For a moment, Ethan froze. He had dreamed of this moment, but now that she was in front of him, he struggled to find words. I only wanted to understand," he said finally. Lyra's eyes, luminous and deep, met his. "Understanding comes with responsibility," she said softly. "Some truths are dangerous, even for the brave." Ethan nodded, though a chill ran through him. He realized that whatever secret she carried, it was heavier than anything he had faced before. "I want to help," he said. "If there is any way I can protect your people, I will." Lyra studied him silently, her gaze intense. Then she turned and moved deeper into the chamber, stopping before a mural depicting a celestial alignment with the predator. "This is why I hide," she said, "because my presence alone can bring danger. But perhaps you are different. Perhaps you are the one who can help me break the chains that bind my people." Ethan felt a mix of awe and fear. He had expected obstacles, but never a secret so vast and ancient. His mind raced with questions, but he knew one thing. His journey was only beginning. The truth of Lyra's past and the fate of her civilization now rested in his hands. As the first light of dawn broke through the chamber's openings, Ethan stood silently, absorbing the weight of what he had learned. The alien queen had hidden for centuries, and now she had chosen to reveal her reason to him. He did not yet know how he could help, but he promised himself he would try. Outside, the planet glowed softly in the morning light, the floating islands casting long shadows over the land. Ethan knew that the coming days would be filled with danger, discovery, and choices that could change the fate of both humans and aliens alike. Yet he felt a strange sense of calm. For the first time, he understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. And so, with determination, curiosity, and a growing respect for the mysterious queen who had hidden so long, Ethan prepared for the next steps of his journey. Whatever lay ahead, he would meet it. But deep in his mind, one question lingered. Could he truly protect her, and could he survive the truth she had yet to tell? Ethan stood in the hidden chamber, staring at Lyra. She was calm, almost serene, but there was a weight in her eyes he could not ignore. The secret she had hinted at was more serious than he had imagined. For centuries, she had lived in isolation, not out of fear of her people, but because her presence alone could endanger them. He swallowed hard. Queen Lyra, you mean there's some threat? Something that could harm your people if I, or anyone else, comes near. Lyra nodded slowly. Centuries ago, our ancestors made a pact with a predator from the stars, a creature of immense power and hunger. In exchange for the safety of my people, I, as the queen, must remain hidden. Any exposure could trigger its attention again. That is why I disappear whenever you approach. Ethan froze. The enormity of her words hit him. This wasn't just political intrigue or palace politics. This was survival. One wrong step, and the lives of thousands, maybe millions, could be at stake. I didn't know, he said quietly. I never intended— I know, Lyra interrupted gently. That is why I allowed you to find the chamber. Perhaps it is fate that you should know. Perhaps you are the one who can help us. Ethan's mind raced. Help? How could a human like him confront an interstellar predator? He looked around the chamber, seeing ancient technology and symbols etched into the walls. There were devices, maps, and diagrams showing the predator's movements centuries ago. Somehow these might be the key. Tell me what I can do, Ethan said firmly. I will help you. I will do whatever it takes. Lyra's eyes softened. It will not be easy. The predator is clever, beyond what humans have faced. It reacts to signals of life and presence. We must approach with caution and strategy. One wrong move, and it will attack without mercy. Over the next several days, Ethan and Lyra worked together in secrecy. Using a combination of human ingenuity and alien technology, they began devising a plan. Ethan studied the predator's patterns and weaknesses, while Lyra shared insights from centuries of observation recorded by her people. They built decoys and protective shields, tested communication methods that would not trigger the predator, and rehearsed possible scenarios. All the while, Lyra taught Ethan about her people, their culture, and the responsibility of leadership. He listened, fascinated. Despite the fear and secrecy surrounding her, Lyra's intelligence, compassion, and courage shone brightly. One evening, while working on a protective energy field, Lyra paused and looked at Ethan. You have no idea how unusual it is for a human to persist like this, she said softly. Most would have left or given up long ago. Ethan smiled faintly. Maybe I'm stubborn. Or maybe I just know that sometimes bravery isn't about strength, but about doing what's right. Lyra studied him for a long moment. You may be right. That may be what saves us. As the final preparations were made, the time came to confront the predator indirectly. They needed to lure it away from the planet without triggering its destructive instinct. Using a combination of holographic signals and energy patterns, Ethan and Lyra created an illusion of an empty world with abundant prey. The predator would follow the signals, believing it could strike without resistance. The operation was tense. Ethan's hands shook as he adjusted the final sequences, ensuring nothing could go wrong. Lyra stood beside him, calm but vigilant. Once it begins, there is no turning back, she warned. They activated the signals, and for a tense moment, nothing happened. Then, in the sky above, a massive shadow appeared, moving faster than anything Ethan had ever seen. The predator had detected the signals and was moving toward the decoy. Ethan held his breath. Every second counted. If the predator realized the deception, the entire planet would be in danger. Lyra's voice was steady. Keep calm. Trust the plan. The predator approached, massive and terrifying. Its eyes glowed with hunger and intelligence. Ethan could feel the energy radiating from it, a pressure that made his chest tighten. But the shields held, and the decoys worked perfectly. The predator followed the illusion, convinced it had found an easy target. When it disappeared into the distance, Lyra let out a quiet sigh of relief. "It is done. For now," she said. "Your courage and intelligence have saved us. You have done what centuries of my people could not." Ethan felt a mixture of relief and awe. I never imagined I could help like this. But you could have died. How did you survive all this time?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Careful planning and isolation. I learned to move in ways that avoided detection. But even with all my knowledge, it would not have been enough without you." Ethan realized the depth of her words. This queen, so powerful and revered, had trusted him with a secret that could destroy her world. The responsibility weighed on him heavily. But he felt a sense of purpose he had never known before. Over the following days, Ethan and Lyra continued to work together, strengthening the planet's defenses and finding ways to ensure the predator could not return. In the process, they formed a bond built on trust, respect, and shared experience. Ethan began to understand that heroism was not just about action. It was about sacrifice, intelligence, and caring for others. Lyra, for her part, revealed more about herself. She had watched civilizations rise and fall, witnessed wars, and carried the burden of centuries. Yet, despite the danger, she found hope in Ethan's presence. "Perhaps humans are not as reckless as I feared," she said one evening. "Perhaps they can be allies, not enemies." Ethan smiled. "We can learn from each other." "I know I have." With the immediate threat of the predator removed, Lyra no longer needed to hide. She could walk among her people openly, confident that her civilization was safe. For Ethan, the experience changed him forever. He had faced something beyond imagination, proven his courage, and helped save an entire world. As he prepared to return to his colony, Ethan realized that his journey had given him more than resources or knowledge. It had given him understanding, respect, and a connection with a species far beyond his own. Lyra approached him, her expression gentle yet firm. "Ethan," she said, "you have proven that humans can rise to challenges that seem impossible. You have shown courage, wisdom, and heart. For that, you have my deepest gratitude." Ethan felt a warmth he could not explain. "It was an honor, Queen Lyra. I only hope to continue helping wherever I go." Lyra nodded. "And you shall. Perhaps your people and mine can work together now, not as strangers but as allies. You have changed history today, Ethan. Remember that." As he left the planet, Ethan looked back at the palace and the queen who had once hidden from him. The floating islands glimmered in the distance, the crystal trees reflecting the sunlight like jewels. For the first time, he truly understood the weight of responsibility and the power of courage. He had faced the unknown, embraced it, and emerged stronger. The alien queen's secret had been revealed, and with it, a bond that could change the galaxy forever. And deep in his mind, Ethan knew one truth above all. Bravery was not just about facing danger. It was about facing the truth, even when it froze you in place.